Swearing, cussing is not a sin. Let me explain. So I'm seeing a bunch of reels, some videos on Instagram that is calling out cussing and swearing as sin. Like there's a video, there's a few videos in which a pastor is calling out a bunch of sins, fornication, lying, whatever, all these other sins, and then they include cussing in there. And I'm just thinking is cussing really a sin? So when people say that cussing is a sin, they usually point to Ephesians chapter 4 verse 29, which says, what did I say? What is he? Which of course says, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. And because of that verse, all of a sudden those words in and of themselves are bad. The F word, the B word, the S word, the whatever other words there are. But are those words in and of themselves sinful? That's the question that we are going to answer. So I say no. Well, I lean more towards the side of no, because I believe that the topic of swearing can be a little bit complex. But I side more with no. I don't believe those words in and of themselves are sinful. Of course, the first reason being, the words are not in the Bible. The F word is not in the Bible. The B word is not in the Bible. The S word is not in the Bible. Yeah, those words are not in the Bible. We've got to remember that they are man-made words. And because of our cultural upbringing, how we were brought up by our parents, even schools as well, they kind of instilled in us that swearing is bad, awful, and all of that stuff. So I believe that's why a lot of Christians think that swearing and cursing, or no, cussing is sinful. But as I said earlier, I'm going to have to lean more on the side of no, that the words are not sinful. When I say the words, as in the words in and of themselves are not sinful. So really and truly, the context of Ephesians chapter 4 verse 29 is basically the impact of our words on other Christians. So if our words causes others to stumble, then it is viewed as sinful. If we use curse words to express frustration, disrespect, or anger, and through those three, or one of those three, we curse at others, we swear at others, then that actually brings them down, and that's not loving. And then, yes, that's sinful. Even Colossians chapter 3 verse 8, which talks about how we shouldn't use abusive language. So yes, abusive language. We shouldn't use words that abuse others, because abusive words can actually harm other Christians, other people. As we all know, that popular passage in Proverbs, life and death are in the power of the tongue. So, we don't want to speak death into other Christians, other people. We want to speak life into them. We want to speak that encouragement, strengthening. We want to speak healing into that person. We don't want to speak death. We don't want to discourage them or bring them down with our words, because that is sinful. So the approach that I like to take is 1 Corinthians 8. I like to apply 1 Corinthians 8. So of course we know the passage. Paul is talking about if eating meat causes someone else to stumble, then no. So we all know that passage. Paul talks about eating meat. If eating meat causes a Corinthian Christian to stumble, then he said he will never eat meat again, because back in those days, meat was usually sacrificed to a god, and then a fake idol god, and then they would eat that meat. So of course, some Corinthian Christians, if they were to see Paul or another person eating meat, another Christian eating meat, then they'd take that to mean that Christians can worship idols, because that's how they'd usually worship an idol. Sacrifice the meat to an idol and then eat it. So Paul, aware of that, said if it causes others to stumble, then he will not eat meat again. So I believe that we should apply the exact same with swearing. If swearing causes others to stumble, then we shouldn't swear around them. And that's why I believe it is heavily dependent on the context, rather than the words in and of themselves being sinful. I don't believe that it's sinful for two Christians who are alone with each other to be dropping F-bombs while they're having conversations or telling jokes or whatever. If it doesn't cause them to stumble, or if it doesn't, taint their witness. So a few examples of my own. If for example, I gotta make deuce in the toilet. If I say I gotta take a I gotta take that. I don't believe that God has really been affronted. I don't believe that God would see that as sinful if I say I need to take a SH. Yeah. If I see a car accident down the road, I'm by myself, and I say effing hell, I don't believe that I've sinned. I don't believe that it's sinful for me to say that. If another Christian is around and it causes them to stumble, then I believe that is sinful. But if I'm by myself and then I see that car accident and then I say that, no one hears me, then I don't believe that I have affronted God or anyone. So to wrap this up, as I said, while it is a complex issue, the Bible doesn't specifically list certain words as sinful. We are encouraged to be mindful of our words and the impact of our words to other Christians. And we should always use our words to build others up instead of tearing them down. However, I do not believe that the words in and of themselves are sinful. The end. Make sure you like, subscribe, hype. I mean, that's a new thing that we're doing now. So yeah, do that, please. Follow my Instagram at Gabe Chosen. I do one-on-one online faith and fitness coaching. So if you are a grown, what I say that swearing isn't a sin. That's not a sin. So if you are a grown ass man or a grown ass woman who wants some coaching, remember, ass is not a swear word. It's a body part or a donkey. DM me on my Instagram, or DM me coach, or DM me chosen on my Instagram, and lock in. Become the man of God or the woman of God that God has called you to be. My coaching is faith and fitness coaching. So it's to forge your faith and to forge your fitness. Help you overcome gluttony, help you overcome lust, help you to become fitter, healthier, and physically imposing for the kingdom of God, for the kingdom mission, for your kingdom work. It's important that we Christians have that spiritual discipline and that physical discipline. So yeah, that is going to be my video. Yeah. Peace. Ooh. I need a thumbnail. Whatever.